Welcome to this Qigong class. We're going to do something very specific. We're going to use the breath, we're going to use Qigong to walk the nervous system into a place of being alert and focused. In other words, not super charged up and also not super zenned out. Actually, very functional for the day. Hi, my name is David Depler, breath scientist turned Qigong instructor. We're going to play in the world of Qigong through the lens of breath. In other words, we're going to take care of breathing mechanics. We're going to take care of the chemistry of good breathing and the psychophysiology of breathing, or what we call the mind. Now, if these concepts are interesting to you, check out my book, Breathwork Exposed. And if you want to dive deeper into the Qigong work, check out the Breathe Your Truth Qigong page, link in the description. All right, let's start. Let's take a little wider than shoulder width stance. So the practice today, we're going to energize the system, then we're going to smooth it out, and then we're going to bring it into focus. Let's start with a motion called knocking on the door of life. We're going to do a weight shift side to side. So we're going to shift to the side that we're turning towards, and then we turn and look. The breath is easy in and out through the nose right now. We're just going to take the activating part of this being the tapping part, and we're going to hold the breath steady. So tongue resting gently on the roof of the mouth, breathing in and out through the nose, turning to look. And now once you get that down, let's take a little wider leg stance. We're going to drop just a bit more through the knees and continue that weight shift. See if you can lose any of the up and down motion, and it really is just a shift side to side. And then from here, let the weight drift into the balls of the feet just a bit, so the heels stay in contact, but we are a little bit more on the balls of the feet. That's another thing we can do that starts to pull the nervous system in to say, hey, game on, party's coming. And then come to the center. And in a wide leg stance, toes facing out just a bit. Allow the tailbone to drop, the crown of the head to lift. And just feel the echo of that practice against the backdrop of the emerging energy coming from the legs working. And then from a breath chemistry standpoint and from a physical demand standpoint, let's use the pump to really put our foot on the gas pedal of the system. So with the breath in, the arms come up overhead, and with a 2-beat breath out, we release. So how that goes in slow motion is we come down, we straighten the legs, the arms come back. Then we bend the legs to get the arms back up. Breathing wise, here's how it sounds. So breath in and back up. So there's that 2-phase breath out where we use the pump motion to actually help push the breath out. Awesome practice for the fall where we tend to shortchange the breath out. So let's use a little bit of power to really help with that breath out. Breath in. Breath in. Nice, subtle, easy breath in. Big force to get the breath out. One more subtle breath in. Big breath out. And now let's go big on both ends. Big breath in. One more. And release. And now check in. And no doubt the landscape is going to feel a little different. So this practice, we've stepped on the gas pedal of the sympathetic nervous system skillfully. We've charged things up. You may feel a little bit of dizziness with it. That dizziness is simply an example of us having thrown your chemistry off. Don't worry, we're going to bring it back. And then let's do white crane soaring. With a breath in, we open. With a breath out, index finger and thumb come together. With a breath in, we draw that energy into the lungs. And with a breath out, release. A breath in, we open. Breath out to close. Breath in to release. Now we're making a transition into flows, but we're not going to leave chemistry quite yet. So we're going to work something into this. We're going to play with doing breath holds while we do this. So let me walk you through that. Here's our breath in. Here's our easy breath out. Here's our breath in. and a breath out. And now at the end of the breath out, hold there. And we come into Tai Chi opening, press forward, draw back, release. Here's how this will go. We'll take a breath in, index finger and thumb meet, breath out, breath into the lungs, breath out to release. And now, at the end of the breath out, we're going to hold the breath and go through the motion. So we hold the breath at the end of that breath out as we make our way through another round. And then we come back to a breath in, a breath out, a breath in, a breath out. And if you're ready, go another round. Hold at the end of the breath out. Go through that movement. What you're doing is sending a signal to your nervous system that all is well by doing this movement, while yes, there is another underlying system of concern. There's our breath in, a breath out, a breath in, a breath out. Now let's just release that for a moment and talk a little bit more about the politics of it. So we are doing a motion that is hard to actually hold your breath while you're doing movement, because you know the movement and you know it's a short time before you get to breathe again. You can let a conscious signal of, no, all is really okay, play against that backdrop of your body physiologically feeling a bit of a threat. We're intentionally trying to pair those two together. Let's do it again. This time, I'm going to let you go at your own pace. I will do the movement so you can see it just in case you want to check in. But what I really encourage you to do is experiment with your pace. If the pace that I was doing is too hard, go a little faster. If you'd like to experiment with going slower and just seeing, can you maintain this kind of rock solid, steady, all is well mindset in the face of carbon dioxide starting to tell your body there's a problem? Play with that. So just alternating between a breathing round and then a breath hold round. And release. Now we've officially entered into flow territory. So we'll let the breathing now be on its own and be simple, subtle, and nourishing. Let's do bear swimming. We've done that the last couple times. It will be familiar for you. Let's take the horse stance that you feel comfortable with. And what I mean by that is it's just enough to say hello to the system, not enough to tax it out. So we're on the toes just a bit. Heels still in nice contact, a softness of bend to the knees. Not too low that things are starting to chatter and make noise, not too straight that we're just mentally checking out. We're finding that sweet spot. And the first part of Great Bear Swimming, the hands come through, palms facing skyward, and then the index finger and thumb extend as we take that breath in to open, a breath out to release. A breath in to bathe our system in courage and inspiration, and a breath out to let go, so we don't cling to that. We also don't cling to our sadness, depression, grief, which are feelings that like to especially emerge this time of year for the reason of being composted to courage and inspiration. So as you open index finger and thumb extended, you can give a smile, give a nod to your birthright of feeling courage and inspiration. And then as you breathe out, you can give a smile and a nod to your ability to release sadness. And let's do our centering motion, because we're getting so stealth with this. One time on each side. A breath in, we gather energy, release tension in the mind, the heart, and let the energy rest. Breath in, breath out.